Okay, so this is week 2. So I did the week 1 where we simply talked about the language and the history of Biblical Hebrew, and this week's is on really special consonants and vowels, so continuing that. And it's important to remember this is Biblical Hebrew and not modern Hebrew. And this is just to give a foundation. These were 1.5 hour classes, which I'm condensing into this 10-minute video. Special consonants. So there are gutturals. So some of the consonants are called gutturals because they are back of the throat type pronunciations or have a special pronunciation. And so these 4 guttural letters, the aleph, the hey, the het, and the ayin. Of those, the het itself has a sound. It's bach. So it's that kind of I feel like I want to spit when you're saying a word. And this can be a difficult sound to make when you're pronouncing certain words. The aleph, the het, and the ayin can be silent in modern pronunciations when they appear at the end of the word. It kind of acts like the E in English, if you will. Now, an example of the aleph in that it's kind of that silent is in the word earth or land. It's aretz. So I'm really only pronouncing the vowel, which we see here, which is a kamat, which we will talk about a little bit more, and you saw that a little bit last week. Now, on matrios lecciones, which we also talked about in the last video, the vav and the yod play also a vowel. So they took a consonant and they used that specific consonant for a vowel sound in words. This is partly too how we can see the age of certain manuscripts that have been located. So in the earlier time, it was a suffix on the end of the word. We see in later stages where it was put in the middle of the word, again, to denote a vowel sound. And these letters are used by the Masoretes when they created the vowel pointing system to denote that this was a vowel sound. So the hey, while it doesn't play the role of a vowel, it has sound of a vowel, which is why it's included in the matrios lecciones grouping. Other special consonants is what we call the beged kefet or beged kepet. That's just a term to kind of remember for convenience. The letters that play the beged kefet, which are the beit, the gimel, the dalet, the kaf, the pei, or it makes an F sound, fe, and the tav. So these are also come in regular and final forms. These 6 consonants appear with or without a dot, also known as the dagesh lente. There is also a dagesh forte. We're not talking about that here. It's the dagesh lente, which means that it changes the pronunciation of the letter. So a beit, for instance, will turn into a v sound versus a b sound. The kaf will go from a hard K to that bach sound, and a pei will go from the hard K to more of a f sound. So here are the Hebrew vowels, and with these vowels, there are some that are called reduced. We talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the class, so there'll be another video on those. What's important for now is to know that these are the vowels, which are long vowels and short vowels. While they don't necessarily play a role in the different sounds, they do play a role in terms of the grammar rules that get applied to words and kind of understanding the word and how the word is being formed, and therefore its context and how it's being used, singular versus plural. For instance, male or a masculine or feminine word usage. So that is how this is structured. Don't worry too much about the transliteration. Again, I will do a separate video on the transliteration itself, but for now it's just important to remember that these are the vowel structures, the kamats, the patak, long A's and short A's, the sagol and the sere, which are long and short E's, and they call them I or E class vowels. We'll see that in just a moment. What is in the other is the interesting, which is a shava. Sometimes this is called a vowel, but it's not really a vowel. It plays in the grammar rules, but it's really vocal. It denotes syllables, and it's vocal when it opens a syllable and is silent when it closes a syllable. And again, there's another video that will talk more on that. So continuing on, these are the I and the O class, and we can see here on the reduced vowel and the short vowel in the I class. So a mi is the I class. It sounds like an E, like me. So this is a mem, which is an M sound, and a E sound. So this is the hirik. And again, these are examples. And then we have the O class. Now, where we saw the kamatz, which was a ah or an a sound, like as in father, there are times where the kamatz does have an O sound. We call that the kamatz katan. And these have special rules, which are denoted here as well. So again, you know, it's very complicated rules, which is why just learning Hebrew on your own is very difficult, because there are rules and there are always exceptions to the rules. Very few things in Hebrew are 100% all the time. Okay, so continuing, this is just, again, some examples and using the mem. So ma, which is a patak here. This is the straight line that you see, versus to the right, which is a kamatz. This is also ma. And we see below we have a kamatz male. So this is a kamatz with the hey. So again, that playing that matras lecciones role, but it's still ma. All sound the same, but again, these will take on rules that get applied in the grammar when it's used in words. Some other examples here, just so you can see within words how this is utilized. Now, this is a vocabulary structure here, but if you look at the one that's in red, and we see here, this is going to be halak, and this is he walked. And so we can see the kamatz underneath the hey, then we have the patak underneath the lamed, and then we have the final kaf, so it's in its final, what we call its final form. Okay, so the shava, which I mentioned earlier, it's kind of not really a vowel. It really plays this half vowel or kind of this vocal role, but it has more to do with grammar rules than anything. And so this is an example, what we call a moving shava. I prefer the word vocal shava. I just think that's easier to remember versus the silent. And we have an example here, and we have yishmaru. And so we can see that the first shava is silent, and then we have the second shava here, which is vocal because it's opening the syllable, where the first shava is actually closing the syllable, and those are the rules. Again, these are the references in putting these materials together and just reviewing some of the foundational components of the Biblical Hebrew language. I hope you're enjoying these, and we'll see you on the next one.